The number one mistake that golfers make with the driver is coming over the top. I've yet to find a golfer who I wasn't able to fix and rid themselves of that fault. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say it's easy, because it's not. You know it's not easy to change the driver. And that's why I've broken it down into 3 actionable steps. So let's establish what we mean by over the top and what we're kind of looking for if you video your golf swing. If I place a line that goes from where the club shaft meets the club head, it goes through the bottom of my trail elbow and all the way up through, extended out the back like that. If your club head at delivery is this side of that line, I would kind of term that over the top. Now it depends on the amount, you know, a fraction wouldn't be too bad, but if it gets too extreme, that's over the top. What we're looking for is for that golf club to be kind of on that line, if not a little bit behind. If you can achieve that, you're going to start to hit straighter shots, possibly even slight draws. So if that's how we want the golf club to approach the ball, we have to start by looking at where you finish your backswing, priming the backswing. That's our kind of first section. It's incredibly difficult to achieve that delivery position that we've just explained if when you make a backswing you don't have enough depth. So depth would be, where is the grip relative to the golf ball, or relative to its starting position, if you like. You can see how this grip has gone upwards, but it hasn't really gone behind me. So if you're someone who's got a backswing where there's not a huge amount of depth, as soon as you start your downswing, you can see how it's going to be incredibly difficult to get that club sort of into that position that we've already referenced. You're almost always going to come over the top. If you contrast that with someone who's got a huge amount of depth, you know, Rory's a great example of that. From here, it's much easier to get the golf club on the underside of that line. That's more what we would tend to see from those golfers who draw the golf ball. So in order to get this kind of perfect top of the backswing position, what I'd be really looking for is trying to get the grip of the club pretty much above your heels. Now, your backswing is made up of 2 main components. There's some pressure shift and some weight shift. We're not going to touch on that. But your backswing is made up of a lift of the arms and a turn of the body. So if I show you those 2 movements independently, this would be a lift of the arms. The arms don't lift straight up, they lift up slightly over my trail shoulder. So I'm going to lift the arms up. Now that looks quite strange because I'm doing that on their own. But once I've lifted the arms up, if I then rotate my body, you can see how we start to get into a position which is relatively normal. So if we think about those 2 movements, what is creating the depth there? Well, it's not the lifting of the arms, because when the arms lift, the grip doesn't go behind me at all. It actually goes more up in front of me. So the arm lift is not what creates the depth. What does create the depth is the rotation. And you might need more rotation than the next golfer. So what I'd love you to do is, with driver, think about the grip of the golf club relative to your heels. From setup, you're going to lift those arms up, trying to keep your lead arm pretty straight. Right arm is pretty extended, even though it's slightly flexed. And from here, I'm going to add some rotation. And as I add rotation, you'll notice that the grip starts to move more and more inwards. The more rotation I have, the more the grip moves behind me. If I simply lift the arms up, add a small amount of rotation, and start my downswing, my club path is always going to be out to in, and I'm always going to hit that slice. So when we look at the club path, which is down at the bottom right, we see 6 degrees out to in. On this one, I'm going to do those 2 components exactly the same. Arm lift, but this time I'm going to add more body turn. And simply adding more body turn gives me the ability to produce a completely different shape. So my club path on that particular shot was into out by 12.9 degrees. So the first drill is priming the backswing. And this is how you're going to hit golf shots. You're going to go lift the arms up, add the turn, get the feeling the grip is behind you, swing through. Now I didn't quite strike that as well, but very, very similar shape. And we get the path moving out to the right. Now there might be some of you watching who, when you go to the range, you do that and you're kind of fixed already. That'll be a perfect scenario, but in many cases we have to target the transition as well, because there's nothing really to stop you getting into this perfect top of the backswing position with plenty of depth and then still coming over the top, and that is a relatively common problem. So we said in the backswing we had arm lift and body rotation. Now those things happen as a blended movement. They don't happen the way I demonstrated it, but your backswing is essentially your body rotating your arms lifting. So if we want to get back to hitting the golf ball with the driver head, and we do, we have to undo those things. So from this top here, if I rotate my body and then I swing my arms, you can see what type of swing shape I get. We get that over the top, that common golf swing pattern that we often see. That's going to give me that out to in. And if I demonstrate that now, even though this might be good, we turn the body first, and we swing the arms second. I mean, that was a low kind of squirty shot that wasn't much use to me on the golf course. So my downswing on that particular occasion had exactly what I needed to have. I had body turn, I had arm swing. But because the order wasn't quite right, the path was out to in, it was over the top. So what we've got to try and do in the transition is understand that the feeling we need is one where we keep our back to the target, or we keep our chest away from the target. And as we're sort of starting to bump a little bit of weight back to our lead side, we're already starting to allow the arms to lower relative to my body. Now that doesn't mean we're throwing the club away, we're not releasing the club early, but what we are doing is changing the relationship between the body turn and the arm swing. So from here, I can bump a little bit of weight, but as I start to lower my arms, look where that club goes relative to that reference point that we've got on the screen. Notice how my arms have lowered. The club is now more underneath or behind that line, which is really, really key. Now when I return to my body and add that rotation in, the club approaches a lot more from the inside. So the second phase to this is once you've got yourself up to the top, you're going to do what we call a little pump drill. So a little pump drill is you're going to bump a little bit of weight, pump the arms down. Bit of weight, pump the arms down. And you'll notice that as I do that, there is a little bit of rotation in my body. It's not completely static, but it's not this huge kind of hit from the top that so many golfers demonstrate. So this one should give me a path which is way out to the right. We prime the backswing, we bump a little bit of weight as we pump the arms down. Once I've done that a couple of times, you can see where that club's going. Once I swing through from here, we're able to send the ball up the right-hand side and we're able to get it to finish left of the line. I was going to say on the line, slightly left of the line. Now, if you're swinging out to in, which many of you will, that's why you're watching this video, the only way that you're ever going to get the ball to finish anywhere near your target is to have the club face open to that path. So if I swing way to the left and have the face open, it's not really what I want, but the ball starts to drift back towards the target. So your club face is very used to being open to the path. So you prime your backswing. You've got this perfect transition. You're now hitting it more from the inside. But if you have the face open to your path now, you're going to hit it further right. So once you can change your swing shape, which we've done in those first two sections, we've got to learn how to get the club face now more closed to your path. Because if you miss this, you're going to be further right than you were to begin with and in no better position. So how do we do that? Well, I just want you to be really aware of what you're doing through the golf ball with your lead arm and the club face. What we would tend to see from great players, great drivers of the golf ball, is that when they are post-impact, so in this position here, and the club shaft is pretty much level with the ground, the three fingers on this glove hand will be facing or visible when you're viewing the golf swing from directly in front of you, as you are there. If I place my trail hand on, you can see those three fingers. Now, when we look at golfers who come over the top, we'll often see this. So the first little exercise I want you to do is one where you simply take your left hand, you open it up so you can see the palm faces that camera behind me, and I'm simply going to make some little golf swings where the palm goes from behind me to in front of me. Very, very similar. So my palm is now facing over in this direction. What is not happening is my palm is not doing this, which is really common for those over-the-top golfers. If you swing from the inside, as we've taught you in this video, and you release it like this, it's going to go seriously right. So very simply, palm is going to go away from you, behind you, in front of you. Then you can start to add the golf club, super light grip pressure, palm behind me, palm in front of me, palm behind me, palm in front of me, palm behind me, palm in front of me. And if you start to hold just above the elbow, you'll start to feel very easily how the toe of that golf club wants to go from behind the heel to in front of the heel. This is the club face rotating freely. This is not me manually doing it. It's with my hands and arms, but because my arm is rotating correctly, the face is rotating correctly. So let me go ahead now, I'm gonna hit a drive. I'm gonna put all those things together so we can hit a nice high draw at the middle. Okay, that's gonna land pretty close to the line. That one might even finish on the line.